Back to Commitment 2024 tonight and live pictures from the Republican National Convention where just minutes ago Donald Trump accepted the party's presidential nomination. This was his first speech to the nation since the attempt on his life on Saturday.
WMUR's Steve Botari is live inside the arena. And Steve, that was a big part of his address tonight.
It certainly was, and what was a long address actually pushed this Republican National Convention into a fifth day. And we saw a gamut here over the course of the night, everything from Kid Rock to opera by the time this event was done. But the focus today, like you mentioned, was the former president and his primetime address. This was the scene as he was walking out onto the stage tonight to address the crowd. This was his first public address since the assassination attempt a week ago in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, the president, we had heard a lot of talk about a unity message and really hearing about a softer tone from the president heading into this address. And for the first 25 minutes or so, that is what we got, including this line almost right off the top.
We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America.
And then there was this moment on the stage when the former president walked over to the uniform of the firefighter who was hit by the bullets in Butler, Pennsylvania, and killed at that rally last week. The former president said he would talk about the assassination attempt just one time on this stage tonight and never again, saying it was too emotional. This is what he said.
I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood.
So the president there recounting it. Really, that portion of the speech took about 25 minutes, but then the speech continued for well over another half hour, the speech lasting over an hour total, and the back half sounded very much like what you would hear at any Trump rally that we've covered campaigns really in the months and years since the former president has been running for office. So almost the tale of two speeches, in that unity message at the beginning and then more a typical Trump rally speech for the second half. Jen and Marissa.
Yeah, Steve, and you mentioned kind of the turn that it took there. What have been the main takeaways? There was talk about rewriting the former president's speech leading up to this moment. So what are the takeaways from tonight's speech and how it compares to what we've seen and what we're used to seeing from the former president?
Yeah, I can tell you, when he was recounting the story about the shooting, you could hear a pin drop in this arena. It was silence as everyone was with rapt attention on that portion of this speech. And you could hear in the president's tone a change. It was softer, more somber. I want to talk about God during that section of the speech. And then there was the second half. I will note, the reporting on the ground, on the floor of the convention, is that much of the second half of the speech, that was taking place off teleprompter, not in the prepared remarks, but rather the traditional Donald Trump riffs that he sometimes go on during the rallies. Marissa and Jen, back to you.